For our last tutorial, we have um, the resource metadata ready for use. Um, we have checked with the Postman that this resource is working, and we have something like this uh, response in JSON. So now what we are going to do is create a flow in a menu and use uh, the API that we have in Boomi. So the first thing that we are going to do is create a new service. And we are going to use this URL that we have here. The format is going to be JSON. You can see here is failing because this URL is a private URL, so we need access to this URL using a tool. I'm using Unrock that allow me to have a public URL that is tunneled to my local host in the port 1990. With this tool we can generate a public domain that is redirected to our local host. In this case it's a automatic generated subdomain. I'm using the paid version so I can generate my specific subdomain, so in the test it's going to be more easy. So now if we change this, we can use security, and if we change this for Boomi, we should get the same result. So now many-who can detect this service. Here it is. We can install this service. The configuration is the URL that how we use it. And these are the operations that we are allowed to use with this service. We have copied the metadata from the Java service, so we have in the metadata all this operation. We really don't have implemented any of this, but what we are going to implement in this tutorial is this operation: create a new SMS. Now that we have this service installed, we are going to need the type SMS that is provided by the service. SMS. Okay. So the SMS object structure is imported. We are going to create a value for this type. SMS. And private. Now what we are going to do for this example is we are going to hardcode the phone that we are using to call, and the phone that we are using like the source to call. So we need a string from We are going to set a default number in private. To another number, and we are going to also override the body. Have to from and body. The first thing that we need with the flow is populate the SMS that we want to send. So the from is going to set to. We need to set a order. And also the body. The next action is going to be send the SMS. We select the service and the operation that we want to use. The value of reference is going to be message. We connect to the next one, and now we need as a step to check if everything is going right. This is our flow. We are going to run it. Flow. We get an error because this operation doesn't exist in that moment in Boomi. So we are going to create this operation. This is the metadata that we have created in the first tutorial. It's going to be a REST API. The input is going to be a single JSON object, and we are going to create a new profile for this request. We are going to import this profile from the Java project. We have here our new profile, and now we are going to do the same with the output. Here we have the new object. The method is going to be post object messages, and the path is going to be SMS. Okay, we save that, and now we are going to take a look to the process. This is our process. We have to activate the listener and make a small change here. Request should be response. Okay. Now this is going to return something. So we need this shape at the end. And now we are going to create a new connector in Twilio. Twilio connect. So now we are going to create a connector for Twilio. It's look like this. I'm going to use my own connector. And a new operation. We can import. Twilio connector is automatically creating two profiles, request profile and response profile. Both are in XML files. So if we check here the profiles, we can see it, the new profiles. So we have the request, we have a profile of Twilio that is not compatible with our request, so we need a new map. This is the request for Twilio, and this is our request, and we need to map these two profiles. For map the profile, we are going to need to make some minor change in the request. This array is going to have 3 elements, and we don't know in which order these elements are going to arrive to our API. So we need to organize in some way this array. The way to do it is add it in identify for each one of the elements. So now we are forcing to have 3 elements, and we are going to see how we detect which element is which. Um, this is the first element. We are going to create a new function, custom script. So in the input we are going to have the developer name and content. And this information is going to be translated to from, to, and body. We are going to do this map with a JavaScript. This is the script. So we don't need to know in which order each element is in which order each element is sorted in the array. We are going to connect for this exercise we are going to hardcode the application seed. And we save. We are going to change the name. Okay. We can connect this. And now we are going to transform the response of Twilio in a response that ManyHook can handle. For do that we are going to hardcode the response. We are copying again the response from the Java service, from the test, so we know how is going to look the response. In this case the token is going to be dynamic, and also we are going to make a small change here. Instead of wait we are going to pass forward. That means that the flow is not going to wait for our response, it's going to continue with the flow. We are going to change that in the first part of the tutorial. We are going to connect each of the shapes. And you can see here that we need this value that we don't have in the response from Twilio. So the best way to fix this problem is creating a property in the process that we can use it. And now we are going to add two properties in this set property process. We are going to save the token here. We need to indicate how we are going to get that token. We are going to get this information from the request. So we need to connect this in some way. We are using a branch. The branch is going to call the first branch first, and when it's finished, it's going to call the second branch. So this is going to be executed in this order, and then that's. We stop at this branch because we don't need it for anything else. And here we are going to overwrite the token. Process property. And it's going to be the token, the only choice that we have. So with this indication we say that the token is going to be inserted here. Let's check if everything is okay. Oh, the elements. Token, okay. Okay. And we are going to deploy. Now we are going to run the flow again. And we detect that the number is wrong. So we need to use a real number. Okay, I'm going to edit that, run this flow. I have modified from and to real numbers, so the flow is going to work. And this is working. I have received my message to my mobile.